Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Box Office Talk. This is the show where I break down what happened at the box office, see if my predictions for the top 5 are correct, and then make predictions for next week's top 5. So let's get right on into it. Last week I predicted that number 1 would be Black Panther, number 2 would be Red Sparrow, number 3 would be Death Wish, number 4 would be Game Night, and number 5 would be Peter Rabbit. And I got all 5 of my predictions right for this weekend, which is great to celebrate on this Oscar weekend, getting all 5 right. It was a little bit easy, but at the same time I wasn't really sure where Death Wish was going to be considering the timing, but apparently I got all 5 right. So let's go over what happened at the overall top 10. Number 1, of course, was Black Panther, making $65 million this weekend. Once again, like last weekend, only having like a 40% drop from the previous weekend, which is very good for this film, and that adds to a domestic total of $501 million, and on the worldwide chart, it is sitting at $897 million. So it's for sure going to get to $1 billion worldwide. Like, I think it's very obvious at this point. My main question, though, is that now that it is out of the 100 million kind of area for its weekend grosses, where do you think the film will end on its domestic run? I'm thinking between 600 million and 650, but at the same time, considering the great staying power it's had, it could get over like 650 million and maybe get to like 700 million domestically. I'm not sure yet. That's why I'm just making this prediction now. We'll see how this film grows in the next coming weeks. Number 2 was Red Sparrow, making $17 million, and that adds to a worldwide total of $43 million. Now, this film has a budget of $69 million, and it needs to get to $138 to be considered a success, and I'm not sure how well this film is going to stick around, you know what I mean? Because not only did it have just kind of a low opening this weekend, but considering the subject matter that the film has, its more darker elements, I don't really see this film really resonating with a lot of people in a great way. Like, a lot of people might be spreading the word right now that you should not see this film. So maybe worldwide it'll get a chance to get to like 138, the doubling point, but I'm not so sure about that, honestly, considering how much violence is in this film. And honestly, like I said in my review, I like the movie, but I can totally understand why people would be turned off by that. So we'll see how Red Sparrow does in the next coming weeks. Number 3 is Death Wish, making $13 million, considering all of the controversy that is going on with this film's timing of release, which happened like the exact same time it was supposed to come out, like last year. Like, the same controversy is back for this film as far as timing goes, but it was still able to make $13 million on a budget of $30 million. There's no worldwide total yet. It needs to get to about $60 million to be considered a success, and I'm thinking with the domestics it's going to get, and also some worldwide, it might be able to do that. Kind of hard to tell when there is no worldwide total right now, but it's not a horrible start. It is not a good one either, but it's okay. I haven't seen the movie yet, but considering all of the controversy, I wouldn't be surprised if some certain people are all of a sudden turned off by this film as well, like Red Sparrow. Like, people come out of it and talk about like, man, this is terribly timed. But moving on to number 4, which is Game Night, making $10.7 million this weekend, adding to a domestic total of $33 million, and on the worldwide chart, it is sitting at $49 million. It needs to get to 74 to be considered a success, and it has $25 million more to go in order to get there, and I'm thinking it will, because even though it is slowing down a bit, I was hoping there'd be a little bit more staying power, but this is still like a strong second weekend for the film. I think it will be able to get its budget back, and I think that's very good, because this movie was a big surprise for me, and I'm hoping more people go out and see it, because it is a pretty good movie, pretty fun time, and not controversial like Death Wish or Red Sparrow. Moving on to number 5, this is Peter Rabbit, making $10 million, only dropping from like what, 12 million last weekend, adding to a domestic total of 84 million, and on the worldwide chart, we finally got numbers for it. It is sitting at 101 million, which is 1 million over its doubling point of $50 million budget, and that is very good. The movie is finally getting some of that back, you know, and that's pretty good. I've heard decent things about the movie. I haven't seen it yet, and it's my most anticipated film of all time. I know, kill me for that. I love Sony, and I just haven't been able to see this film yet, but very soon I will see my most anticipated film, Peter Rabbit. Moving on to number 6, we have Annihilation, making $5 million, adding to a domestic total of $20 million. And of course, all of the people who don't understand the deal between Paramount and Netflix probably are saying, it's a bomb, like, still. And it's like, dude, like, Netflix bought, like, the distribution rights, which covers, like, the majority of its budget. Like, it is doing fine, actually, like, considering Netflix already has the budget kind of covered for the most part. Annihilation is doing fine financially, somewhat, I guess. It's not a big hit, but it's still not like in deep doo-doo like everyone's making it out to be. So that's still pretty good. I'm glad there are still people out there giving this film some support, even though I think there should be just a little bit more to that 5 million number, but at the same time, it is one of those films that isn't for everyone, unfortunately, so that's just the way it is. Moving on to number 7, which is Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. It's weird seeing Jumanji actually lowered this low. I'm not used to this. Usually Jumanji's like at the very top, but it made $4 million this weekend, adding to a domestic total of $393 million, and on the worldwide chart, it is sitting at $928 million. Now, in case you're wondering, on the top 2017 domestic grosses, Jumanji was able to make it past Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 to make it to the number 4 spot on that list, which is very impressive for this film. This film that I thought was not going to do as well as it is now was able to surprise me in that regard. So even though it wasn't able to make it to $1 billion worldwide, it still surprised the heck out of a lot of people, which is obviously worth celebrating, even though the film probably could have been a little bit better. Moving on to number 8, we have 50 Shades Freed, making $3 million, adding to a domestic total of $95 million, and on the worldwide chart, it is sitting at $346 million. Now, I think this movie, honestly, I think this movie is going to get pushed out of the top 10, considering the new releases we're getting next week. So hopefully this is the last time I have to cover 50 Shades on a box office talk. One can only hope, I guess. Moving on to number 9, we have The Greatest Showman, making $2 million, adding to a domestic total of $164 million, and on the worldwide chart, it is sitting at $366 million. This film also, I think, is going to get pushed out finally this weekend, and you know what? This movie had a very good run. Even though it's about to get pushed out right now, this film had a better run than I anticipated, than anyone anticipated, maybe even they anticipated, and that's pretty good for this film. That got mixed reviews, but audiences really loved. And finally, closing out the top 10, the film that I still know nothing about from last weekend, Every Day, making $1 million, adding to a domestic total of $5 million. Okay, now it's time for the fun part, the predictions for next week's top 5. Now, I'm going to predict that number 1 is Wrinkle in Time, number 2, Black Panther, and here's where things get tricky for me. I'm going to put number 3, Gringo, number 4, The Strangers Pray at Night, and number 5, a little bit of a gamble, I think, but The Hurricane Heist. I think considering Red Sparrow and Death Wish being like the top 2 behind Black Panther right now, and I don't think those films are really going to hold over that much, I think all of the new releases next weekend, at least the ones that are going wide, will be able to get into the top 5. Not so sure about Hurricane Heist. Even Strangers Pray at Night is a little bit of a gamble for me, but I'm thinking I'm positive on these predictions. But what are your predictions for next week's top 5? Leave it in the comments below, and if you got your predictions right for this week, you're going to get a shout out right now. Unless you didn't get it right, then I'm sorry. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time.